welcome to About Face Theatre presents 5 Questions With, and today's guest, actor Denise Gough. Denise is an actor whose extensive theatre credits include her Olivier award-winning and Tony-nominated role in Angels in America, her Olivier-winning and Obie-winning role in People, Places and Things, alongside work at the Royal Court, the RSC and the Abbey, among others. While her range of TV and film work includes Monday, A Dark Place, and the Duchess of Malfi. Denise, you're very welcome.
Thank you very much.
So great to have you here. So we'll just dive right in. So what play or experience first got you into theatre?
Okay, so I was thinking about this because I didn't ever go to the theatre when I was younger. I only started going to the theatre when I came to London, and only really when somebody would bring me, because I could never afford it. So, but the experience on stage for me that made me really want to be an actress, I guess, was I played Miss Hannigan in Annie at school when I was 11 or 12. And something happened on stage. I remember I took it so, like I really went for it, smoking and everything. But everything on one night on stage, all the children, because we were children, they all forgot their lines. So the stage went really quiet. And so I just started talking and making stuff up in character. And I was a smash hit. And from that moment on, I thought, oh yeah, this feels very nice. And that was the only comedy I've ever been allowed to play. But yeah, that was my first. I had been in Fiddler on the Roof, but I was in the chorus, which I was not interested in. I loved being part of the community, but on stage I was like, oh, come on, I want to do more. So I was always attracted to playing leading roles and big roles. But Annie was the first time I thought, oh, I like what it feels like to take control of an audience at 11.
Beautiful. Yeah, I love it.
But yeah, it was really doing it, and then it was seeing it later in life when you actually moved to London, and then that brought you on towards more theatre, but actually you didn't have that much theatre growing up.
No, never. I mean, where would you see theatre in Ennis, County Clare? Like you don't. You do now. I think they have a theatre called Glore there, which is amazing. But no, growing up, it wasn't. I remember my sister being taken to see Cats when she was 16 for her 16th birthday. And I remember I wanted to stay in school, in secondary school, because in the 4th year, you got to do a play or musical. But I left school when I was 15, so I missed it. So, but yeah, there wasn't a theatre mentality. There wasn't a celebration of theatre. So I loved being on stage, but I didn't really know what it was to witness great theatre until later in my life.
Right. Okay, well, speaking about great theatre, Denise, what's it?
Are we going to talk about something I've done?
Only, nothing
obviously.
else.
See how I am?
We love it.
So, what's a great play that you love and why? And it could be something you're in, or maybe something you weren't.
Well, I thought about this too, and of course the one play that I will love forever and would do forever is People, Place and Things, but the play that I remember seeing and thinking I learned so much watching it was Death of a Salesman. It's one of my favorites. I love all those American writers, Arthur Miller and Tennessee Williams, Eugene O'Neill, all of those guys, they just wrote so beautifully. But Death of a Salesman, I saw Brian Dennehy play it in London. I remember getting I can't remember why I got a cheap seat, but I got a cheap ticket and I went to see it. And I remember Brian Dennehy stepping out on the stage, and I thought, he's not going to die. Nothing bad is going to happen to that man, because he was like a truck. Like he was so powerful. And then it was so devastating to watch him crumble all the way through. And I thought that was my first lesson in acting, about don't play the end of the play. And because I saw it again with another actor, and he walked out on stage, and I thought, oh, he's dead already. So I learned a really big thing from Brian Dennehy, and but the writing, great writing, and also I love Electra, which is a great play. But People, Places and Things, for myself, the experience of being in it was incredible. Angels in America is one of the greatest plays ever written, but I'd never want to do it again, ever in my life. But yeah, so there's so many I could talk about. Like plays, great plays, but it's all in the writing, you know. If you have a great writer in theater, the writer is king or queen, whatever. And when you get, I've been so lucky, I've got to do so many great plays.
Yeah. So you mentioned there, you know, watching it in a sense that unexpected nature, right? Of like not playing the ending, right? Seeing an actor not playing the ending. Like in your own theater time, like, can you tell us about a time in your theater life where you know, something turned out differently than you had expected it to?
Okay, so the very opening night, the first preview of People, Places and Things, there's a scene in that play where she's on her own on the stage and she's making a phone call, and at the same time she's snorting a line of coke, rooting in her handbag, lighting up a cigarette, moving around the space so everybody can see her, and then there's a comic beat that has to happen at a really specific time. So it was the only part of the play that I was nervous of, because I was alone, and I like being on stage with people. So all the way through rehearsals and everything, I'm thinking, fuck, I'm going to be on my own with this bit. This is the hard bit. And so on the very, very first opening night, all of the National Theatre staff were in the audience, everything. And before I went on stage, I said, okay, I'm here and I'm ready, so let's do it. And whatever you've got for me, I'm all warmed up for you. And I stepped out onto the stage, and there was 3 trap doors in the original production. There was 3 trap doors in the floor that things would come up out of. And one of the crew guys, because they only had 2 days, bless them, to tech the thing, he opened the wrong trap door, and so it broke. And so there was a huge hole in the middle of the stage. And I thought, okay, it's a huge hole there. Don't fall down the hole. Okay, great. Kept going. Did like, there's a whole Chekhov bit at the beginning. There's a huge like movement number. And I'm thinking all the way through, I'm completely committed to being on stage. But what's amazing about an actor's brain on stage is at the same time I'm thinking, how is everybody going to get on stage though? And what if somebody falls down the hole? And I got to remember, and then that scene, what's going to happen with the hole? Because there's so many things that can happen. And then in the middle of the phone call, the stage manager, I'm right in the center, in the middle of it. I'm doing everything. It's all going well, but there's still a hole in the stage. And then about halfway through, the stage manager came on stage, company manager, and she said, I'm so sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but we have to stop because it's dangerous, obviously. And without thinking, I turned to the audience and I said, fuck, I was really good in that bit. And I left the stage, and they did what you just did. Everybody clapped and laughed, and I suddenly thought, oh my God. And I left the stage. It took about 15 minutes. I went back on and I started the phone call. And before I started it, I said, it's live theatre, ladies and gentlemen. And I went back into the phone call, and I had like a brilliant show, and it was all amazing. But the reason I tell that story is because I had fear about a certain part of the show. And it's like whatever was looking after the play needed me to be completely unafraid for what was about to happen with the show. And so it was like, it was saying to me, the stage can crack open, can crack in half. The show can stop. Everything can go wrong and it will still be all right. And so I have never, from that moment on, I have never had even a whisper of fear when things go wrong on stage. And the crew member, Johnny, at the end of the show came up devastated that he had made this mistake. And I said, you've given me the greatest gift I could have ever asked for, because now I don't have any scene that I'm afraid of in this play. And then from then on, it was like, if things went wrong, it was like the stage management were like, it's ridiculous. You see something from across the stage, and I'd like dive across and grab things that were going to fall down holes. I became a ninja on that show, and it's because something that I thought I should be afraid of turned out there was nothing to be afraid of.
Wow.
So that was my big.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. Beautiful, yeah.
Yeah, it's good, right?
Yeah. Like I'm tearing up actually. So.
Yeah. And then it happened on Broadway in Angels in America, and Andrew's quite method, and we had a massive show stop, like massive. There was a huge piece of machinery and it just broke, and so Andrew and I had to leave the stage. And we came back on after like 20 minutes and he was still in it and very serious. And I just don't do that at all. I can't do it. And then he's brilliant, but I can't do it. And my first line as Harper was, "They're having trouble with the machinery." And so I turned to the audience and I said, "They're having trouble with the machinery." And everybody laughed, and it's a big thing. It's like the audience want to be included in,
oh my gosh,
when things go wrong. And so if you take it too seriously, then you miss the magic. And the magic is, we're all in a fucking theater, ladies and gentlemen. None of this is real, but we're going to pretend that it is for the next 8 hours. So that moment in People, Places and Things has freed me up. I mean, I wasn't ever really afraid on stage, not to the point where I'd get like, I've loved it forever, but being alone on stage and having a lot of, oh God, what if I fuck up this thing?
Yeah.
It just wasn't helpful. And so the gods of the theater decided to intervene. And so that was my greatest experience.
Yeah.
That's great. So, so Denise, obviously, as well, you've branched out and you've done a lot of TV and film work. So what is it about the theater that keeps you coming back to it? What moves you? What excites you about theater?
It's just better. Well, I mean, look, TV and film are great in their own way. And, you know, I'm really grateful to be allowed to get to practice that kind of way of doing it. But for me, theater is like, it's mine. Like, it's mine. The work is mine. When I get to give the work every night to the people. I don't give my work to somebody else and then have them go into a room and cut around it and make it. I mean, I had a day at work last week that was like my first experience of of fucking up a line. And I was like, oh my God, I can't make this work. I don't know how to make it work. And the director said, look, we can fix that in the edit. And I was like, oh. I mean, I'm glad that they can fix it because I couldn't do it. But on stage, I will fix things, and even if I have, like, I've had horrible experiences with certain directors and just thought, oh, why don't you just piss off? And as soon as they piss off, I can get on with the business of telling the story to my audience, you know, with my company, you know.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's a control thing, maybe. I like, but I'm also starting to enjoy relinquishing control, because I think there's something really powerful in that too. But I get the hit straight away. Like, I get there's nothing like it. There's nothing. That's why I'm so worried about the theater at the moment, in terms of, like, if we go back to socially distanced theater where everyone is sitting apart and the energy doesn't get to kind of get into that kind of cauldron or whatever. I'm not sure I want to be doing loads of plays that have 400 people in a 1,000-seater audience, or 10 people in a 100-seater audience. I want the people. I want as many people as possible. And so yeah, I like them being I like being with the audience as they experience it, you know. Even when the production is kind of crap, it can still be. I've worked on things where, I remember one guy standing up in the middle of it and just going, no, and leaving. And I thought, oh, I just love this.
That's amazing.
Great. Just being on stage, getting to be on stage. I mean, it can be rough if it's a tough crowd, or but then it becomes about the people you're on stage with. And if that's difficult, then just dance on your own for a bit. But it's yeah, there's nothing like it for me. Nothing. So I will, of course, enjoy what I get to do now. And I'm grateful, especially in the pandemic, to get to do TV and film, but the theater is always it. I only ever wanted to do theater or TV and film in order to be able to do whatever theater I want for the rest of my life. And that's where it seems to be. And also that my big break happened, like I say big break, it's such a crass thing to say, but like I'd been around for years, but the thing that put me sort of on the industry map was a play. So there's no doubt I was only ever here for the theater, and all the other stuff is a bonus, but I will die there, you know.
I love it.
Yeah, you're making me very homesick for a stage and for audience. Yeah.
Keep that feeling, because we need to, when we get back to it, it's going to be glorious. Like, and to think that there was ever a time where we would have taken it for granted. I mean, I was at the theater twice a week. I've missed all those people I would see at nights at the theater, or, you know, I'm working with actors at the moment, and when they walk into the makeup truck or whatever, and I get so emotional, I'm like, I haven't seen you in a year. Like, I spoke to an actress about how we're feeling about going back to the theater and when we're going to feel safe enough to do that. And like, because I would love to do People, Places and Things again, but I want to do it at its height. I don't want to do it, I don't want to have to compromise it, you know. I want us all back together again, feeling stuff, you know, and especially after what we've all been through. I want to give great performances and tell great stories for people who are sitting in front of me.
And as we've found out, people want that too.
Oh my
God,
what I mean? We have learned so much about what's important to us, you know. Like, it's how you could ever talk about arts cuts and stuff now. It's just like, how you've seen how TV has kept us going, and drama and people telling us stories, but we are craving, I want to go in a room with a lot of people crying and sweating and spitting. And I want to spit on people.
That's what you miss most, spitting on people.
Actually, I'm pretty good at not spitting. I know some actors who are terrible spitters.
Oh yeah. That front row spray. Yeah.
Don't tell the audience that. Don't warn them.
So speaking of spit, no, not at all. So, you know, you've talked a lot about what, you know, things that you have learned in the theater, and I think that piece about fear, which I know is particularly about that play for you, but also obviously applies to your theater, and I would guess life as well. Is there anything, you know, any tools that you've learned in theater, any other tools or anything like that that you feel has been helpful to the rest of your life?
I thought about this and I wanted to say something profound, like the gift of listening or the gift of being present, and maybe that is the case, I don't know, but stamina is stamina, really, the ability to like go from, and I'm not just talking about doing a performance, but the way that I lived when I was solely doing theater and earning very, very little money, going from working on stage and then going to be a waitress, like the stamina of how do I keep my mind from defining myself by the fact that I now have to go and serve people chips. Like, how do I keep myself thinking I am an artist, I am an actress, I'm, you know, a person. But so stamina. And if I was a bit more wafty, I'd say things like, you know, staying present, but who wants to be present at the moment? Like 9 hours on my phone a day dreaming of going to Greece. Like, I have no interest in being in this present. So but maybe the notion of like making up realities, that's a pretty good one.
Bonus.
But I'm sure for a lot of people what I've learned on stage is tedious, the need for attention, people clapping for me. I don't understand why I don't have standing ovations anymore. It's taught me everything. It's educated me. I'm not an educated woman beyond the age of 15 years of age, and I bailed out of school at 13, so I wasn't learning anything. I wasn't taking anything in. So I have read some of the greatest writers. I've learned about their lives. I've learned about history. I've learned about contemporary. I've learned how to speak, how to be articulate. I learned that from being educated in the theater. Like every play is an education.
Yeah.
Because nobody else could educate me. So theater did it. It's given me everything.
Well, this has been so cool, Denise, so brilliant. So just as a bonus, can you tell us anything about what you're working on at the moment?
Well, I mean, I can tell you what I'm in because I have been announced, but I can't tell you anything about it because I'll be shot in the head. I'm doing Star Wars, the new Star Wars series about Cassian Andor. So yeah, I'm doing that, and
Cool.
yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Nice. Yeah, and we know with them, there's nothing. Yeah, you can't say anything beyond that.
Nothing. I mean, nothing.
I'm just going to assume you're playing an Ewok, and that's all I'm going to assume about it.
That is why I look like this. Yeah, but I have to say, like, it's very exciting though to be on something that's quite iconic. I'm not a huge. I don't. It's never been my thing. So, but even I was like, oh, okay, this is quite cool actually. And also when you were working for Disney, it's like everything is so super shiny. Nobody is talking about watch the budget. You can't have your hair done like that. Watch the budget. They're like, yeah, woo. So I'm enjoying it. It's very fancy. They take care of me very well. And it's, like I said, to be working at all right now. I have friends who are, Deliveroo driving, and they're doing it with such grace. I don't know if I could do it with that much grace, but there are people whose lives have changed so much because of everything that's happening. So yeah, I was glad I got over the line into the land of like proper paid work just before this happened, but so many people didn't. So I'm aware of how lucky I am.
Beautiful.
Although I had it shit for a long time. So
yeah, I was gonna say you earned
to feel that bad.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna feel that bad about it. I'm gonna take it. I'm fine.
No, enjoy it. Enjoy the catering and the
yeah, totally. The green juices. Everybody brings me green juices whenever I want them.
Amazing. Well, Denise, thank you so very much. Thank you for joining us. I'll just say a quick thank you too to our audience for joining us. It was so great to have you here. And we look forward to having you with us next time at AboutFACE Theatre Presents 5 Questions With. And feel free to like below and follow us, and we'll see you next time. See ya.
If you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe to us on YouTube, like us on Facebook, and share. Thanks for watching.